study control and coordination in plants. Now we will see how different systems in plants are coordinated. For this, let me show you this. Wow, that's a park. Now I ask you some questions. What can you see from this picture? You can see some children, they are playing. You can see some trees. Now let's answer these questions. Can animals move? Yes, definitely, they are moving. But can plants move? No. At least in this picture, it is not moving. But the answer is yes. How? How can plants move? We can move from one place to another. Animals can move from one place to another, and this motion is called as locomotion. But have you ever seen a plant moving from one place to another? Have you ever seen a mango tree running? No. So plants never locomote. But they do move. We will study this movement in this module. We move because we have nervous system and we have muscular system which are beautifully coordinated. But what do plants have? How do plants move? Let's understand this concept. Let us study movements in plants. To understand this, let me show you this. Wow! To the movement of the sun, the plant moves. Here the stimulus is light, and the response is the movement of the plant. So plant moves in response to the stimulus. And now I am going to show you a very beautiful example of another plant movement, a very famous, well-known plant. As soon as you touch this plant, the leaves close. So the stimulus here is touch, and movement here is closing of leaflets. In both the cases, plants moved. So plants move in response to external stimulus. In the first example, the stimulus was light. And the second example, the stimulus was touch. But in both the cases, plants moved. One more example of movement. You can clearly see the plant is growing and it is moving. So we can say plants move in response to external stimulus and due to growth. So plant moves. But what causes movement in plants? We have nervous system, we have muscular system. Both of these, they are coordinated to bring the movement. But what is there in plant which is making them moving? How that sunflower moves towards the light? Let's understand this. Do plants have muscular and nervous system? No. The movement is coordinated by chemicals called as hormones. Yes, this is the chemical which is bringing the movement in the plant. This is the chemical which is bringing the movement in plant in response to stimulus. Let us study the plant movements. Let me show you this. Due to external stimulus, plants, they show two types of movement. In this example, in this figure, in this picture, you can clearly see the plant is growing. The roots are moving, the shoots are moving. Yes, the plant is moving. But is this plant growing? Yes, definitely yes. Roots are growing towards gravity and the shoot is growing upward. So here the plant is growing. This is called as growth dependent movement, where the movement is dependent on growth. Because of the growth, the plant is moving. So this is example of growth dependent movement. Now let me show you this. Here, when you touch the plant, the leaves are closed. The leaflets are closing. Is this plant growing? No. They're only closing the leaflets. None of the part of this plant has grown. Such movements are called as growth independent movements, where movement is not dependent on growth. So we have two types of movement in plants. One is growth dependent and other is growth independent. In growth dependent, movement is there due to growth. And in growth independent, there is movement but there is no growth. So two major movements, growth dependent and growth independent, are present in plants, and these movements are happening because of some chemicals called as hormones.